sorry. I have a little friend in the house, and he takes a lot of time up. So, we had 2 goats kid over the weekend, but it wasn't great because one of them kidded early in the morning, like in a 4-hour period that I was not going outside every little bit. And the other one kidded at like 11 o'clock at night. It was really cold. So we have, out of 8 total, that's including the 2 stillborns, we have 8. That was 8 kids, and only 2 are alive. So this year is going to be kind of terrible. But I have one in the house. His mama was first freshener, and my cat is making weird noises. He just couldn't keep up with her. He got chilled, and I brought him in the house, got him warm. I brought his brother in the house too, but I couldn't get his brother warm. So, yeah. Oh, and by the way, they're all boys. All of them that was born was boys. So, yeah. So, yeah, I was a little preoccupied. Oh, and yesterday I sheared an animal for the first time in like 13 years. So, and it was a goat. And now I'm broke out all over. Yeah, the one kidded outside in the wet. And the other one, she actually kidded inside the little dome building that we have, that old water tank thing. All right, just hang on. And one of her, well, I guess I tried to revive 3 of them, and I only got 1. The first one, that was Mama Goat. I think Dolly was starting labor at the same time and distracted her, because Mama Goat's usually spot on. She's a great mama. And she had all 3 little boys, and she cleaned 2 of them off, but one of them didn't get up and get going, I guess. And one of them, I knew he was dead when he was born. They just look different. But yeah, it's a boy year. I think it's the jerk face genes. So that might be going down the river. Oh man, because I can't make any money off of boys. Not really. We could eat them, but I had 2 sets of triplets that were all boys. 2. That's I don't know. At least they waited till it didn't snow anymore. There was no snow, but it was all wet. So, I mean, oh well. So how was everybody's weekend? It is finally drying out. Finally. The sun's been out for 2 days now. I am so excited about that. And it didn't rain here this weekend like they thought it would. So that's a plus. Oh, and by the way, I was feeding animals yesterday. Wyatt went with Matt to go pick up some hog heads. Matt's going to clean them. And I wish we could get all girls. I make more money off of females, which, I mean, anybody who's around, they know that. I am loving this weather too. Other than it's turned everything to soup, like anywhere we have to walk a bunch, like going in and out of the goat pen. And so if you don't have rubber boots, you're not getting anywhere here. But I mean, it was nice. Wyatt got to ride his horse Pee-wee yesterday. I was feeding animals, and I got in there and scratched all over Honey. And I mean, so she still loves me. She hates Wyatt. She runs from him. And I think everybody's enjoying this heat wave. My hens quit laying while it was cold, but that's just how it goes, I think. Whew. I don't even know if I have a picture of. Actually, I do know I have a picture of them, my two that I'd brought in the house. Actually, I'd probably go get him. Matt named him Milo because he's orange, like Milo the cat off of Milo Notice. He's really cute. Yes. Mudfest. Mudfest. Is George still in here? Asking if I spazzed out. I really, and also I didn't film any of it. Hi George, just make sure you're still in here. I didn't film any of it with the goats. I didn't have time. I was just in it, getting everything done, trying to get everything situated, making sure everybody was cleaned out like they're supposed to. And Mama Goat, she's like the best thoroughbred horse in the world. She'll spit it out and then she's up and doing what she's supposed to be doing. But Dolly, she's the one that had these other ones, and she's not friendly. So we've had to build a jug for her to get in. I'm gonna turn her out today. I'm not putting Milo back out there with her. He's adorable. But I stayed busy. Y'all, I know y'all don't want to, and most of this happens at night. So you couldn't see me anyway or see what I was doing. But I know people don't want me to turn on a camera every 3 hours when I go outside to check goats. And I'm not really presentable at that point either. I'm probably gonna wake him up. I just put him down, but I'll be right back. I'll go get him.
Hey, don't chew on that. Don't.
Okay. Here he is. He's gonna. They had like a family dinner thing there last night. They had a whole bunch of people. They weren't open to the public yet, Burger Barn. And hey, I got. Isn't he cute though? I've never seen an orange goat like this. And he comes out to being like 5/8 Kiko. So he should have the long ears. He's really cute. Whenever Burger Barn opens back up, I'm going to say something in a video. And I want to try and organize something where like some of us can get together and have lunch there. That is Weber's Falls to a T is Burger Barn. And it's been there forever. He's got like some pretty little white spots on him. But he's like a roan. His hair, it's gray on the underside. He looks like a Milo, doesn't he? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, this is why we have Lily. We have a bunch of a bunch of coyotes, and we actually had a coyote den just 50 yards from our fence. And Matt's killed a few that he's seen that went to that. He's watched them, but they're, who knows. I was really hoping to get some, which we did, 2 of them. Let's see, 8 kids. There was 3 blacks, 1 that was white with a black head, and 2 that were done in white. They had one had a done head and one was done on his right to about right here, and then the back was white. Yes, I'm bottle feeding him. I milked his mama. which is not an easy thing whenever you have a goat that hates people. And I gave him her colostrum as well as supplemented with some powdered colostrum I had already bought. And he's just going to drink baby milk. Hi, Kate. How are you? My cat is retarded. He hurt his leg, and now he thinks he's can climb on stuff still. He's weird. So yeah, Milo lives in a box in my living room currently. When he gets up and gets to moving around better, I'll fix him something else. George, his brother, died this morning. I could never get him warm enough, and I started giving him supplemental fluids like subcutaneous fluids, but he never come out of it. I think Mama might have laid on him because whenever I pulled him, he was fine, and so I left the other one with Mama because she was attending to him, but he was really cold. And then I went out there at about 11 o'clock last night, and he was pretty cold, and she was in the house with him, but I think she laid on him, and if she did that, he could have had oxygen depletion, and then they just won't. I never could get him to latch. I got him warmed up, but he never would latch back on. So we're just stuck with Milo. I think I'm going to go milk his mama out really good today, and he'll have what's left of her, and then I'll just turn her back out. Honestly, I think it was just kind of it's probably partly my fault. It's just a big mess. I should have separated her, knowing she's first-time freshener, and she's brand new, you know. Well, not brand new to us, but she's never had any kids before. She really wanted to pay attention to them, but I think the other goats got her nervous, and so she just didn't do as good as she should have. But yeah, so instead we got this cute little boy that gets to go with us. He got to go visit his Aunt Megan and Uncle Josh with the boys yesterday because I had to shear a goat. And so my nieces all just fawned over him, which he loves the attention. He's a good boy. Yeah. Hey, did you notice there's not... Oh, Haston. I'm going to go put him back in the box. Oh, no. What happened? I got baby goats on me now. You go see everybody on YouTube. All right. He's not going to be a permanent house goat. He's not going to be permanent, trust me. The one I'm excited about kidding is Reba, the red goat. She's Dolly's twin. She's the big solid red one. She is huge, and if she has 3 in her, I'm gonna go ahead. Probably she's not due till the later part of the month, or she's not due till next month. She was one of the last ones bred because I saw her get covered after I was pretty sure everybody else was. I think her and Dandy are probably the last 2. Yeah, those coyotes really worry me too. That's why we built some solid pins up here at the front by the gate, so I could put my nannies up to kid, and so I could separate my buck so I don't have kids out of season. But I think I might go ahead and like Chip and Dolly. You know, obviously they're now are done. I might just go ahead and let them get rebred whenever they come back in, and then they'll have it'll be late babies. It'll be like July babies, but just to go ahead and get some babies out of them. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see if they're going to be good moms or not. If not, we're going to cull them. But, you want another drink? I have baby poop on me now, and I stink. I smell it. Did any of you happen to see my interview with Sprague River Homestead? I think Haston just pooped on me. It's good kids, huh? What is today? The 22nd? I know, like, George has Sprague River Homestead. Let me pull it up. I know George has cows, so I'm probably going to ask him some questions one of these days. But I'm thinking about building like some individual kidding pens that I can take down. My video, that'll probably be Thursday. I'm going to go out there and I'll show you guys what we did for. Yeah, I take a lot of those losses hard because although my priority here is my family and feeding my family, the goats are essentially my job. They're my second job. My first job is this one. And so I take it really hard sometimes, and I need to learn to let things go. But I'm always one that I want to learn what I did wrong. And a lot of people don't. I don't know. I'm always worried somebody's going to say something that's mean. All right. So here is my interview. I'm posting the link with Sprague River Homestead. It takes me 10 times as long because I have a baby on my lap. Sorry. And he's trying to hit me with a, hang on. He's hitting me with a wooden ruler. There we go. But I think I've been watching a few people like Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. She builds individual kidding pens, and she like stocks her goats. So she knows exactly when each one gets bred. She writes it down on the calendar. I wrote down the ones that I noticed, but Dap is kind of sneaky, which I will be having one really late baby, which will be Pearl, which was the little doe that I bought for my niece to show. And we got her back, and I know he bred her 3 days after she got back here. So we'll have that one's a late baby. So I'm not too worried about late babies if there's just a few, especially these young ones. Woo, he hit me in the face with that time. Good morning, Tina. I'm getting hit with a wooden ruler right now. I don't know. This, like all the weather stuff and everything that's been going on, I'm really reevaluating my setup, which my pins in the front are working great. Like having the goats here at the front is great because then I go out at 9. I go out usually between 11 and 1 a.m. And then I go out at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and it to make sure everything's going okay with these kids, which that's how I was before, but we had them either directly behind the house, which was really convenient, which that pen, we're going to fence that in. That's going to be like a 4x4 goat wire pen. And, or we had them in like a strip of woods. Oh, quit writing on my notebooks. Here, write on this right here. Write on this. And it worked out. It works out pretty good having them directly by right there because everybody's right there. Nobody can run off and hide. And whenever I get my little barn built, I think it's going to be pretty all right. I think it'll work out really well. We had a fainting goat for a while and found it in the pit. Yeah, it must have spooked and got stuck in the pond. That's scary. I know a lot of people have a lot of people like fainting goats. They're supposed to be a really good meat goat, but I have boys and they would probably torment my poor little thing. So yeah. But it happens. It's one of them things. So, I guess everybody's enjoying. What is the temperature outside today? It's 49 here. 49. It's like sweating weather. In fact, yesterday, while I was yeah, he ropes chickens, he rides ponies, and he scares goats. And he talks really loud. Yeah. No, I don't remember what I was saying. It's all right. It's just a bad year. As Matt put it, like, we operate our stuff. It's a farm. It's an unincorporated farm. We have a farm tax, and that's the goats are the farm. Like, I'm a farm employee, essentially, is what it looks like. I'm an owner operator, and I do all the things. But the goats, that's why we started getting in cows and horses and things. Horses aren't deemed as livestock anymore. But you can still have them as farm animals. We use our horses, or we haven't lately, but so as Matt put it, it's just a bad year. It's just going to be a bad year on paper, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens. It's just like people who raise cows or thoroughbreds or anything. It's going to be a bad season, and with everything, it'll pass. It'll be gone. It'll go away. We'll have a lot of fun with Milo, and we'll raise him up 8 weeks and then find him a home or sell him as a bottle baby if somebody wants a bottle baby. But it's a bad season. That's all it is. You have them every once in a while, especially whenever you're starting out. I guess it's one of those tried and fire. They temper you to see if this is gonna work out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're also expanding our stuff a little bit. So I'm going to gradually get out of the smaller goats, and I want to get mostly like boar and Kiko goats, and hopefully a couple Lamacha nannies. That's pretty exciting for me, because then I want 2 milk goats and the cow, because I'll be milking the goats when the cow is dry, and then they'll all get milked together at some point. Yeah, you can just you got to go up from here, and I'm gonna let those 2 girls, they're resting, the Dolly and the one that Chip, the one that had the aborted her babies. we'll breed them again and see if they kid and do fine the second time, then I mean they're fine. Lamacha. Lamancha, I think. They don't have ears, but they have the sweetest milk of a full-size goat, like in the highest milk fat. So I want to be able to make cheese and stuff, so it's good to have a lot of butter fat or milk fat. And it's supposed to be the best tasting of all the large goats, but I want 100-pound plus goats. I want to get out of the little ones. They just don't produce enough milk for us. Yeah. I think what we want to get some registered cows, but not, like, we just have 40 acres. So full-size Angus on 40 acres, we would only be able to have just a handful. I think what we're planning on doing is getting, like, Aberdeens, the smaller Angus, low-line Angus. And, hi, Mary. Have fun with your chores. But also maybe getting into, miniature zebu cows, which George is going to laugh at me, I know. They top out like 700-800 pounds. To me, it sounds like a pretty good homestead animal because we want to do all of our own butchering, and a 700 or 800 pound steer is going to be easier to handle than an 1,800 pound steer or a 1,200 pound steer, however big. We were going to just have like Black Angus cows because we had the Black Angus bull. We have, she's actually Brangus heifer. And then we would just eat whatever calves come out of honey. But obviously, Angus is going to be in the freezer. And so we started thinking about it. But registered zebu cows, they don't sell for a lot. They're not great big. And that's not the idea behind it. It's really more of having something that's going to produce well on our property. We have a lot of trees, and they say that they are great in brush, and they're really good in about all climates. So they're just a little tiny Brahma cow, and they're super cute. But I don't want them because they're cute. I want them because they should be a good hardy variety. Let me find a picture. I found some really, really pretty little goats, babies, and Matt's like, they look like seals. They do. Or they look like Sid off of Ice Age. It's called an American Lamacha. And see, if we get registered Aberdeens or registered Zebus, then they should be more marketable that way. I know the commercial ones that I've found online, they sell like $500-$600 piece at under a year, whereas the registered ones, I mean, obviously a bull's going to be $2,500 and a cow is $1,500 to $2,500. So it just depends. What I've read, I don't know personally, but I've ate some full-blood Brahma. I've ate some half Brahma, half Angus. And from what I've read, the full-blood Zebus are they're leaner, and they should have a little, they're like a grass-fed beef taste almost, but they don't hold that extra fat. Yes, they don't have ears. Here's a Google picture. And this is actually one that I would love to have because the color she is. She is a black and tan. No ears. But she has the little gopher ears. Yeah, the really weird ones. And on the Lamacha nannies, what I have read is and have seen half boar, half Lamacha kids still have good milking abilities as females, but they're way hardy. They're super super hardy. There's a lady that lives down at Poto, and I think it's Sweet. Yeah, some of them do have horns. They're a horned variety. You can have them disbudded, which I probably would for as a milk goat, just in case. But she, they're not a new breed. They're supposed to be really heat tolerant too. And that's my main focus on anything that I get here. I want something that's going to be hardy. It's going to grow and do good and have good parasite resistance, which the goats that we have are pretty well parasite resistant, or they have really good parasite resistance. I want to get bigger goats. You make more money for one, and for two, you actually, if you're going to butcher one, wouldn't it be better to butcher a 100-pound goat instead of a 40-pound goat? I don't know. It's just me, I guess. But I think the Lamachas are pretty. I'll find a body picture. Which I don't want, I don't have to have show quality Lamacha goats. That's not where I'm at. But this is a show quality one. And you can tell she's been being milked. She's got a great big udder. I don't like the show quality look on them, like where they're all fitted. I like a fat goat. Like this one with hair. But if Wyatt was asking about showing goats, so I'm going to have to get into bigger goats and I like to raise our own stuff. And that's boar goats. Milo's mewling at me. Let's see. Hasten. Let me check on them. They're supposed to have, their milk is supposed to be the sweetest of all the standard variety goats. And they're a good, Nubians, they say Nubians are a good dual purpose goat. They're good to eat as well as milk. And I would think a Lamacha is too, because they're a good full size goat. And their milk should be pretty close to what but it makes them look like their little heads are tiny. They don't have a big head like a Nubian with a dome face, but having a bigger goat, they produce more meat. They also produce more milk. So yes, it is. I don't remember when Matt says it's going to start, but it's going to be a 2-year project, and that's going to be shut down. So I'll be going to Warner for stuff instead of Gore. But that's okay. Let's look at, I'll show you Zebu, the little Zebu cows. Also, the only thing that's different between them and a regular Brahma is Zebu cows' ears stick out instead of having pendulous ears. Here's a bull. Let's see if I'll zoom in on him. Let's stay. See, he just looks like a regular Brahma, except his ears stick straight out. And they do have polled varieties of these, but horns, I've never been bothered by horns. Here's a cow and a calf. Oh, that's not a cow and a calf. I think they're great they look great to me. They also say you can milk them. I don't plan on milking one of them, but yeah, they come in a bunch of colors too. So you might be seeing a handful of zebus in our pasture before too long. Pretty exciting to think about. But yeah, the Gore and Weber Bridge, it was built in the 60s, I believe, and it's never really had anything done to it. They're going to expand it where it has, right now it has like 8-foot lanes, I want to say, and they're going to have 11 to 12-foot lanes, and then it's also going to have a bigger curb, like the walkover that people use. It's going to have a bigger area. Yeah. I think we'll have to go to like Texas really to find a good selection, or look at them from Texas to have a good selection. But I do see some from Kansas and Western Oklahoma every once in a while. And if I get the plain regular gray zebus, I'm fine with that. But who knows? Yeah. And first and foremost, our farm feeds our family. And having a animal that is size manageable for us, we won't have to build. I mean, we'll probably still build working pens, but our working pens don't have to be quite so tough. I mean, Wyatt's heifer, she's a big turd, but she's a big baby too. She loves you to scratch her on the face. And Honey likes scratches. They should be fine. I think if we built everything standard size, and then those little guys would still fit in it, because they get like, I think you get 46-inch cows, or they go down to like 32 inches, I want to say. So they've got all sizes. I would obviously want the bigger ones because that's just me. And they're supposed to be a great animal on your farm because they're small, and they tend to be a little more docile because people usually handle them pretty well. I'd hope, fingers crossed, that I don't end up with bottle babies. But if I have to buy bottle babies to get into zebus, I'm probably going to do that too. It's also why we got Honey, so she can raise bottle babies when she's 2. Yes, I do have some questions. I've thought about sending her an email. I just love her little goats. Her black, what is her name? Clover, the black one. She is so pretty. And yeah, I'll have to remember. I'll write me a note so I can remember. Good morning. Gardening, woodworking, and more. So I guess you do everything, don't you? We are talking about plans this spring and some setbacks that we've already had this spring. This weather, I swear, it's not the greatest, but it's okay. No, ear tagging won't be a thing for them. But the good thing about them is if I just have 2 Lamachas for milk, it'll be okay. They actually, like, if you get registered goats, they tattoo the inside of their ear. Well, on Lamachas, they tattoo their tail. So at least it'd be easy to look for. I'm not sure. If I have a bucket, she'll come to me. But if I'm by myself and I walk out to her, she won't run off. She'll let me walk right up to her. But it's progress. I imagine once everything's thawed out now and it's mud, I'm going to start halter breaking her whenever it starts to dry out. And we'll see how she does. Hopefully she'll halter break pretty easy. She's not real big, so I should still be able to tow her around. But I wish I'd have got her as a little baby like I did Angus, because he was a breeze. Once he figured out, oh, well, if she tugs on me, I just need to follow her, he was just fine. Not everything. I just thought I'd ask. My husband says he is a jack of all trades but a master of none. He's pretty good at some stuff, but for the most part, he just knows how to do things, and it works out for us, I guess. We haven't had any major problems anyway. Where are you from, Michael Sherman? This is the ones that I like. Their name is right there in that. Mine's Lazy Sea Homestead. So I mean, but then I always ask people what their name is. Is Tina still in here? I haven't seen Tina. I feel like I'm rambling today. But yeah. I've got, let's see, about 40 times too many cabbage and broccoli plants because all of the seeds sprouted. And Southern California. Woo! I bet it's warm there. I have cousins that live in the Sacramento area. And then I have cousins that live in, where does she live at? I have cousins that live on both ends of California. Never been there, though. How is your weather? What's your temperature today, Mike? Good morning. Kate's Kitchen. South Central Texas. Did you have power? I have some friends that live in like West Texas, and they had zero power for a good while, and it was cold. Yes, I have a delay from whenever I talk to whenever my text shows up. Like it's I don't know, about 45 seconds, 45 minutes. Low 70s this week. It is 50 degrees outside currently. Just found you. No water for 8 days. That sucks. I like showers and clean clothes, so not having water is not fun. I know. Makes you wish you had a well. But then I was reading an article from there was people that lived, I want to say, in the Odessa area, and they even had their wells freeze up because they're not super deep, because you don't usually get that kind of weather. 71, high in the 70s. Woo! That would be nice. That would be really nice. It'd probably get things going out here, and I could hang clothes out online. You live in California. What's your summertime temp? What does it get? Does it get super hot there? I know my cousins that live in Northern California, they actually have they have a house on top, like up at Lake Tahoe, and they like to go up there, and I guess they ski or something, but apparently that's the place to be for weather wise. I haven't been to Texas in a long time. I like 70s, maybe to the 80s. And then, because things, I don't know, things germinate really well in that temperature. Chino Valley. So you live in like the desert, don't you? 122 degrees. How do you grow stuff? Like what stuff can you grow there? I'm super nosy. I like to find out what, like, I know my climate here. I know pretty much what grows here, but I like to find out. Sorry, I keep clicking that pin, guys. I'll put it down. But I like to see how things work in other areas. Oklahoma's kind of unique. We're not at the lowest elevation, but we're not at the highest. And we're super fertile soil. There's lots of water. Okay. I'm just curious. One of my cousins that live in Southern California, they live in Lodi. He works for UPS, and he said that he's drove and like feels his shoes get sticky on the pavement when he gets out at places. Some of the places he goes in California. Like, that's hot. That's really hot to have pavement that hot. 23 days in a row at 100 plus. You guys in y'all's warm weather places. I agree, George. 73 degrees is perfect temperature. Too bad we couldn't have the whole world stay at 73 degrees all year long. That's exactly what it is. If they don't have water, they don't have life. Well, thank the Lord that you didn't have a disaster whenever all of this stuff has thawed out. We were very fortunate here ourselves to not have a whole lot of mess, and we're very fortunate that I stay here, I stay at home, so then we didn't lose wages or anything. Okay, I'm not great on my geography of California because I've never been there, but I'm curious as to different climates and things, and I know that each state has their own like microclimate. So like in Oklahoma, we're humid all over, but Western Oklahoma has a lot lower barometric pressure, I want to say, and they get a lot colder, whereas Eastern Oklahoma tends to be a little bit warmer. See, Texas is the same way. I know it's greener on the east side of Texas, especially toward the north, and then West Texas and southern Texas is pretty dusty. What do you mean don't move like out of Oklahoma? We probably won't anytime soon. We were supposed to get more. Matt, my husband Matt, he works for the Department of Transport in Oklahoma, and he got out every day. He worked 12-hour, 13-hour days, and he had like 80 hours last week. But I mean, we were woefully unprepared as a state, but I feel like here at our place, we did really well. We didn't have any casualties. They waited till it thawed. And for the most part, things went pretty smooth. I had bought up extra feed. I already had my oil changed in my truck and things just in case. So the Mid-South. There's just so the microclimate thing where it's vastly different from one end and the other. Yeah, y'all hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it, guys. I know a lot of people who have transplant Okies from California. In Arkansas, actually, there's a bunch that moved to Arkansas. And I mean, our land prices are pretty cheap. So if you own in California and you sell, my uncle, he owned a house in the Sacramento area and he purchased it. He had a few acres. I want to say he had like 5 acres outside of Sacramento. He had 5 to 10 acres. I don't remember. And he sold it for 4 times what he actually paid for it. So when he moved here, he was free and clear to buy, sold 10 acres there. He could buy 100 acres here. That sort of thing. It's pretty neat. Yeah. I rode a horse from West Texas. I have relatives that live at Lubbock, and these people had colts. I used to train colts. That's what I did for a living before I had children, and decided that life insurance and insurance is a lot cheaper if you don't ride, 1,500 or 1,200-pound fire-breathing dragons. But they were from West Texas. They had race-bred quarter horses, and they used them to work cows. So they would turn them out on 10,000 acres and bring them up as 2-year-olds. And that was one of my favorite horses. His name, I called him Steve, but I still remember his registered name was Brown Bomber. It's like, or Brown Bomber. It was funny. I also think, talk about the climate part. The Pacific the weather system's coming off the Pacific. They can't get past the Rocky Mountains. It's too tall. So it's like all that weather that comes in. That's probably why a lot of that side of, there's not a whole lot of humidity, I think. Like in, what is it? Utah. There's not a lot of humidity. And I think it makes sense that it's just like the Ouachita Mountains in southeastern Oklahoma. That's why southeastern Oklahoma's climate is just so different than the rest of us. Those mountain ranges, they're an impassable force for weather. I don't know. Fire-breathing dragons. I've rode some that make you think they're fire-breathing dragons. Trust me. Land is expensive everywhere right now. We have currently a lot of Koreans and Laotians that are buying up property here for grow houses. And so our property's sky high right now. And also regionally, like where I live at, Weber's Falls, it's east central Oklahoma. We live 2 miles from I-40. And the land right here is pretty inexpensive. If you go north of I-40, like across the Arkansas River in Sequoia County, it gets more and more expensive the further you get that way. You want candy? Where's it at? Oh, really? Oh, you give me a hug. Here, do you want a drink? Okay. I'm behind. Good morning, Tony. I was wondering where you were. Oh, he wants candy, guys. So hang on just a second. We'll get him situated. What kind of candy do you want? Yep, what do you want? Let's hurry. You want a sucker? Or you want this? Okay. Okay, sorry about that. He says fruit snacks is candy, so. $60,000 an acre. Woo! Do you got gold on there? Silver? Something? Woo! $60,000 an acre. We got ours. Matt bought it before he and I were together, and he got it for $1,000 an acre. Yes. And I lived in Colorado for a year. Matt worked there. And we lived in Kingsburg, which is like the northeast corner, like up in the northeast of an hour from the mountains. And there was more gravel in people's yards than grass because grass didn't grow good. And but I would love to move back to Colorado. I loved the climate, and it was such a beautiful place. The air was amazing, and I didn't have allergies, surprisingly. Okay, we're going back to the $60,000 an acre. She says that is unimproved, and she bought it back in 79. Oh. So Michael, your best bet would probably be to get out of there. Obviously. Okay. I don't talk political on here because for the most part, politically, I am a conservative, and I just don't feel like this platform is where I should be spouting my beliefs on things like that. That being said, I think it's you think of the poverty line everywhere. Like, here's this line, and everyone below it is in poverty level, everybody above it. Where's the poverty level in California then? I mean, 3/4 of an acre with a house that needed a lot of work for $1.2 million. Look at George. George. See, that's partly why we come back home. We wanted to start homesteading, and land doesn't sell with water rights. And it doesn't sell with mineral rights. It doesn't sell, like, you can't collect water anymore, and 90% of it. So it's like, the place is beautiful. It was probably my favorite place we were. But honestly, and Matt would shoot me for saying this, if we moved anywhere, I would go north. Probably which North Dakota's cold and bitter, but North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska. That'd probably be where we went if we went anywhere, just because the land is a little less expensive, which North Dakota is really expensive right now. But yeah. If anybody, I mean, I would gladly have a phone conversation with somebody if they wanted my opinions on a lot of things. And I mean, and that's fine. I'm a conservative, but if someone corners me, I will dang sure put my nose out there and tell you, no politics. Yep, I don't do politics. But the poverty situation, that's really big in politics right now, and that's the only reason why I said politics then. Yeah, I think us little people out here in the middle. $80,000 a year, and you might not be able to afford to own a home depending on where you work. Wow. See, Oklahoma, we don't have any water collection laws, at least not where we're at, as far as I know. Like, I know there's certain areas, if you were to build a shed, okay, here's an example. My mom's cousin lived in Beaufort on the East Coast, and where he lived at, they were only allowed one bathroom in their house and so many bedrooms, and they had, like, you could only use so much water. You couldn't, I don't know if you could collect water or not, but I don't want to live in a place that says you can't build a shed in your backyard. You know what I mean? See, Tony, and Auntie Ann, we know where it's at. We got it. Oklahoma, we're affordable. Our cost of living is low, and nobody can say you can't save your water to water your plants. Yes. See, I was just thinking about it because if I look out the window, I can see, like, if I look out into the front room and then out the window, I can see where my rabbit barn's getting built. And we don't have to tell anybody or go through a permit process to get that. Two acres, had no trees, and had been a cotton farm. That's pretty cool, though. We actually had, a couple years ago, when I was pregnant with Haston, there was some people down here that grew cotton. It was really, really neat because it was something that I had never seen before in person. No, they could only have one bathroom per property. I'm like, are you kidding me? My water comes from Weber's Falls, East Central Oklahoma Water Association, and it is actually bought from Gore, so it comes across the river to us. I think we should just have some sort of revolution happen, and all of us like-minded people should just all congregate in the Midwest. Doesn't that sound great? We're all like-minded, and it's awesome. I mean, our land is great and fertile. See, I could add on to my house and not have to have a permit. I had to have permits, which we live in a double wide. I had to have permits to have it brought in. But that was it. After that, once it's on the land, I don't live in any city limits, so I don't have any strings attached. Yeah, that's why they said Oklahoma used to be, or our area in Oklahoma was peanuts, potatoes, and cotton. Haston is going to click buttons. And it worked. I think it, oh, sorry, he was hitting a button. See, and Auntie Ann lives by Broken Arrow, and she has no laws on, there's no permits. I guess it's whatever you want as long as your neighbors don't complain, right? We don't get that much snow in Oklahoma, though. No strings attached would be heaven. Hey. Yep. Oklahoma, Weber's Falls was known for cotton forever. That's why when I started crocheting, my good friend that bought one of my puppies, she sent me some real wool that she spun herself, yarn, and I am super excited to get to use it. Oh, let's not play with that, please. Let go. And I would love to get some 100% cotton yarn here, so you don't yank my computer down. You have to have a permit to put bushes in your yard. I'm so sorry, Michael. That just sucks. If I had to have a permit, they would hate me because I would have so many things on it. So could you do raised beds then? Like put a raised bed and then next year do another one kind of thing? Woo! Tony got his pigs to freezer camp. I'm excited for you. Our big guy, big brother pig out there, he's fixing to get. Matt said he's going to catch a good dose of 22. We're going to butcher him ourselves, so. George Marshall. I don't remember how old. I don't know if I've ever asked you. Hey, Ann, we could build you a chicken coop. We could rally some neighbors and spend a weekend and build you a chicken place. Woohoo! Hey, you're a rebel. It works. We're rebels. I had chickens in a camper, so we are great. I'm probably buying 75 chickens this year to spread the love. We're going to have 22. Matt's brother and sister-in-law are going to have 25, and then a friend of mine wants 25. Yep. Come on, Michael Sherman. We got plenty of room. Yeah, that's the only thing, which you can get those collars for them and it'll close them or quiet them down. But I think, what was it, Weedham and Reap tried that, and it didn't work real great, but you don't have to have roosters. Hey, I'll text you. We'll get it figured out. We'll get something going. Just tell Mike that he's going to have to deal with it. Well, we have been talking for an hour and 7 minutes. Northeast Texas, and Northwest Tennessee is really nice. Ridge Life. Tim from Ridge Life. Ann, can you throw a link up for Tim? He lives in Tennessee, like near Nashville. But that would be somebody to watch if you want to learn more on Tennessee, to maybe see about being there. Northeast Texas is really great. It's expensive, just depending on where you're at. I have family that live in Decatur and Dallas and Arlington. We have one rooster. Well, we have 3, actually, but there's one with the layers. And he's really nice, and he rarely crows. I hope they ship them, too. You watch Ridge Life? Okay. I'm just saying, Tim would be a great wealth of knowledge for you for Tennessee. Well, I'm going to get off here. It is 11. It is time to go feed Mr. Milo again. And, yeah. This is fun, guys. Just so you know, if you haven't found me before, I do every Monday it should be almost every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time is whenever I do a live. This is my weekly fun live. This is where I get to talk to all of my friends that I have made. And Mondays are a doldrum, and I love to smile, so I thought I'd share. It is a good way to start Monday. Oh, bye, y'all. Thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. We will see you soon. I have a video coming out tomorrow, and it's going to be a cold one. Bye.